If you're a BCBA who's been feeling stuck, unfulfilled, or wondering what else is out there, you just found your new favorite podcast. This is No Broke Behavior Analyst, and I'm your host, Sarah Burby. I'm a BCBA, board-certified health coach, certified intuitive eating counselor, seven-figure business owner, speaker, mentor, and most importantly, your biggest hype girl. You already know you can use ABA outside of autism, but nobody ever told you how. Well, at least not until now. I love taking the science you already know and showing you how to turn it into consulting, coaching, courses, corporate training, and income streams that don't require a single session note. Every week, we're talking money, business, mindset, and all the ways your skills can take you places the field never told you existed. Ready to build a life you're obsessed with? Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of No Broke Behavior Analyst. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am way more comfortable on camera. If you can tell, those of you that watch YouTube, my hair is looking a little crazy today. I was literally at the beach all day and I was like, shoot, I'm going to be in California this week and I'm not going to be able to record an episode, or maybe I could, but I don't want to put pressure on myself to have to record because that crushes my creativity. And then I'm like, oh wait, I'm not going to be able to record it. So I need to make sure that I do it today. And so I got off the beach and then I came here and my hair's looking a little crazy. And I was like, you know what? It is what it is. That's also the good thing about summer is you got a nice little tan going on, you put on some lip gloss and you feel like a new person. Cannot do that in the wintertime. So long live summer. Anyway, so get into the point of today's episode. I want to talk about a question that I get asked all the time when starting a business in like which website hosting site do I use? Which email server do I use? And I don't really know that there is a right answer, but I think that there's answers that are a little bit more right than not. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the platform that I use now and why I do not recommend that beginner business owners use this platform. Okay, so first things first, the platform that I use right now is called Go High Level. A lot of times you'll hear people call it GHL. It stands for Go High Level. I use it now, and I only switched over to this platform a year ago. And the only reason I switched over, I had to pry that out of my little hands because I used that for many, many years. I built Mind Body Behavior on that platform where we were making, I don't know, probably $500,000 a year on that platform. So it served its purpose for as long as it did. And then I realized if I was going to continue to scale Mind Body Behavior, I had to get a system that could have more functions, that I could look at more data, make database decisions. I could really hone in on email marketing. And there was just a lot of things that I couldn't do with Podia. So I finally switched over to Go High Level. We use it now. It is amazing. It's amazing. It's an amazing, amazing platform. However, the reason I do not recommend new business owners use it is because I have a whole team member whose sole purpose is to utilize Go High Level for me, to send out emails and Go High Level for me, to look at freebies and put them in there and look at the nurture sequences that I created and look at the data and look at the pipelines, which basically means, okay, who watched this course? Who watched that course? Who can help me schedule things and Go High Level? Anytime there's an issue with a course or a product, anything within Go High Level, I will create the emails or Kendra and I will create the content, but our team member does all of the things as far as back-end stuff with Go High Level. Now, Go High Level has a amazing affiliate program. So they set it up two ways. And so one way is if I refer somebody to Go High Level, I believe it's 60% of what they pay would go to me and the other percent would go to Go High Level. So absolutely genius on the marketing end. It's why word spread pretty fast about that platform. And they also have like a sub account. So basically, if you're an agency user, I think it's $297 a month, but then you can have people under you on your sub account where they're just basically getting the same features with Go High Level and they're paying $97 or $99 a month. And then the agency owner eventually gets a cut of that. And I don't know exactly how much it works. I don't know if they get the whole $99. I don't know if they get a percent of it. So anyway, a lot of times you'll see business coaches using Go High Level or recommending people use Go High Level. And it's a great platform, but the reason that I don't do it, and I realize I have probably right now, how many do we have in clinicians doing more? 130 clinicians in clinicians doing more. And I don't recommend any of them use Go High Level because it is such a beast to set up. It's such a learning curve. And there are so many other things that I want you to master first before you have to worry about learning Go High Level. So that is why I never recommend it to anybody in my community, to beginners, even though I could probably make a decent amount of money on the affiliate part of it. It's just in my heart, I don't think it is a good platform for beginning users. So with that being said, what the heck do I recommend? There are a ton of different website platforms out there now. So the three of them that are kind of like the, I guess, most common or most used are Podia, they're Squarespace, and it's Wix. So the reason that I like all three of those platforms is because, and I've only used Podia, but I know enough about Wix or Squarespace to talk about it, give you the rundown on it at least, is all of those have the ability to create a website, like a drag and drop website, which is really nice. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the platforms have that now, where when I was starting my business 6 years ago, I remember being on a Wix and like trying to figure out code and how to color and move things and format things. And I just like wanted to throw my computer across the room because I was so frustrated. And the finished product was like, oh my gosh, this literally looks like someone in 8th grade built this website. It was so not fun and not intuitive. Now, a lot of those things have changed, and a lot of these platforms are very beginner friendly. You could build your entire website in like 30 minutes if you really wanted to, with the different templates they have, different drag and drop features. So I know for sure Wix, Podia, and Squarespace all have that drag and drop feature. When I say drag and drop feature, or they have templates, basically they have websites already made, and then you can go in and tweak the text, or you can tweak the colors or the fonts and things like that. And so I highly recommend starting there. And I highly recommend whatever platform you use to make sure that there is an email set up in that platform as well. So what I mean by that is Squarespace, Wix, and Podia all have the ability to send emails. The reason I think it's really important to have email and website connected is one, because the last thing that you want to do is learn one platform. Okay, I have my website over here, and then now I have MailerLite or some other email platform over here, and then you have to worry about how you're going to connect one to the other, and maybe you need like Zapier, or maybe you need to code this. And for your own sanity, do not do that. Do not do that to yourself as a beginning business owner. It's so much easier when you have a course that you're selling, or a product that you're selling, or a digital offer, to have it on the website and email marketing in the same place, because it's going to streamline everything. It's going to be much smoother. So I want to give you an example of what might mean. So when I used Podia, for example, I would have a free CEU on Podia. So Podia hosted my coursework, or my CEUs. And so on that, it would be my website. And then there was one section in the header at the top that said CEUs. And on the back end, I downloaded all of our CEUs into Podia, so it hosted that. And then on the back end, if somebody, say, watched our free CEU or paid $10 for a CEU, the reason I think it's so important to have email connected is because then it could send them a follow-up email maybe a week later that said, hey, Sarah, thank you so much for watching Ethically Blending ABA and Health Coaching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it yet, here's your reminder to check in, or whatever it might be. And I really liked having that all in one platform, rather than, again, having to make sure, oh my gosh, did this connection work? Did this email get sent? If it didn't get sent, was it on Podia? Was it on my email service? So I highly, highly recommend you pick a platform that has all in one. Now, Podia is a bit newer, and in full disclosure, I haven't used it in about a year, but like I said, I scaled my company as much as I could on that platform. It's nice, but it wasn't really built for websites. It was built to host courses, and it was built to host coaching and digital products. So that came first, and then the website portion of that came later. I thought their website platform was decent enough. It worked. All the functionality that I needed on there was good. So like I said, I liked it. What the tricky part is with Podia, and this really isn't going to matter too much now is that it doesn't segment emails too well. So for example, if someone goes and buys this $10 CEU based on their prior purchase history, I might send them email A or email B. So maybe if it's the first CEU they ever bought, I'm going to send them one email. Maybe if they've bought 3 or 4 CEUs, I'm going to send them a separate email. And you can do that on the back end. Again, now we're getting in the weeds a little bit. It doesn't necessarily matter if you are brand new. I don't want you to think about this, but because we're all thinking about scaling, we're all thinking how we're going to grow, it can't necessarily do that in Podia. But what it does do in the beginning is it tags everybody that comes in. So that's the other thing, is you want to make sure that you are getting very, very good and getting in the habit of tagging email subscribers from day one. If you haven't done it yet, that's okay. Start tagging your people that come into your website, into your email ecosystem. I did not do this. So I probably had maybe 500 email subscribers. And then it was the first time someone was like, oh, are you tagging your audience? Are you doing this? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was not doing that. But tagging your email subscribers is really important because then you see who's coming from where. Let me give you another example. So if you are on your website, whether you pick Podia or Wix or Squarespace, and somebody downloads your free resource, maybe your free resource, your lead magnet is 3 strategies for blah, 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 blah. You want to know how many people downloaded that lead magnet. So once they put their email in that says they want this resource, you can tag them as downloaded free resource. Why is that important? Maybe you have 2 free resources that you're playing around with. So free resource 1 you have created, you post about it on your stories, you post about it in Facebook groups, you get as many people as you can into your ecosystem through that lead magnet. And then maybe after a month, you have lead magnet B. And then you test lead magnet B. Okay, how many people did I get into my ecosystem through this lead magnet? That's data. We love data, right? That's data that you can look at and say, okay, how many people downloaded this versus that? Or did they come to you from a conference that you spoke at? So if say you were doing a free presentation, you would have some sort of QR code, some sort of way for you to know where they came to you from. And then you're going to tag them as, these people came to me from Weeba 2026. Okay, cool. These people came to me from this CEU event. Okay, cool. These people came to me from a free intro call that we had scheduled. Okay, cool. That's going to matter as you start to grow, because that's what I was talking about as far as segmenting emails too. You might want to send an email out to everybody that's ever booked an intro call with you, but never went that step further and bought your service. So that might be an email that would only be relevant for people that booked an intro call. Maybe you are going to do an email for the people that downloaded your digital offer and say, hey, I know you downloaded this digital offer. I also thought you might like X, Y, or Z, right? So that's how we can start to nurture our audience, which basically just means give them more tailored emails based on how they found you. So that's really important. I digress into tagging. You can do another podcast episode of that too, but it's really, really important. Whatever platform you choose, you'll be able to tag your audience members or audience, people that come into your audience. So I would highly recommend looking at a YouTube tutorial, or I'm sure on the website they'll have a guide on how to tag people. So make sure that you don't forget to do that you get in the habit of doing that from day one. Back to the different platforms. So Podia is great. You can host courses in there. Their email marketing is decent enough. Like I said, I used it for a really long time. You can send broadcasts, which is basically emails that you can send to everybody. You can also send like drip sequences. So that's another thing that we can get into in another podcast episode. I'm like all over the place today, guys. I get really excited about email marketing. So you could do like a drip sequence. So somebody downloads your free digital offer. So then only the people that download the digital offer would get a series of 3 or 5 or 10 emails. So Podia allows you to do that, which is really nice. So again, the thing that's really the reason people would not use Podia is because their website does have limited features. So something to consider. Now, Wix and Squarespace are also very similar. Squarespace is more aesthetically pleasing, shall we say. You can do more from the design sense on Squarespace, but the email functions are more limited on Squarespace. For Wix, the design tools aren't as advanced. You can't do as much on Wix, but the email capabilities are way better on Wix versus Squarespace. So for me, that designing a website, the aesthetic of a website is important, but it's not the end all be all. I am much more focused on the content on my website versus how it looks aesthetically. So I picked Podia, and then honestly, even in Go High Level, I don't love the aesthetics of Go High Level. I'm actually working with somebody now on how I can put a little bit more of my character and personality into our website, but it gets the job done. It's fine. So that's why I'm not too upset about it, right? It has a text on there that I want. It has a copy on there that I want. So I would say make sure that you look at Podia, you look at Squarespace, you look at Wix, and see which one of those they're out there. If you are using another platform you absolutely love, then keep using that. That's fine. But you want to make sure that you have the capacity or capability, I should say, to email people on your website. You're able to send campaigns or emails to everybody on your email list, and you're able to send emails, nurture emails based on if people opt in to certain offers. And like I said, I just gave myself an idea to do a much more detailed explanation of this in another podcast episode. So that will be coming. And just be careful if you use Go High Level, or if someone recommends Go High Level, I would just really do your due diligence, do your homework. I don't recommend that to any of our girls. There are people that absolutely love it. I know all of my business friends that are making way more money than I am have been using Go High Level for way longer than I have. And they also all have somebody that is doing all the upkeep on the back end to make sure it's running smoothly. Like even sending a email in Go High Level is super complicated. Like I'm picturing what it looks like in the back end. I wish I could like put a screenshot or something of it, what it looks like. There's like really crazy. It has like all these little dots that connects one thing to the other. I don't know. It's a lot. So for me, I would go with the basic first with the foundation. Most of these, if not all of them, have a free trial. So play around with it. And then also remember, it's going to be new. Even if you are not tech savvy, if it doesn't come intuitive to you, that's okay. Just give yourself time and grace as you learn the new platform. But it's so much easier now with the templates. Like use the templates to start with. Who cares? You can you can put it out there and then you can perfect it later, right? Done is better than perfect. So just start with one of those, explore them, see if it has the features that you want to. But remember, we are not going to build a website at all until we know exactly who we're helping, exactly what problem we're solving, what our offer and our service is. Because if we don't have that information, we're not going to build a website. Okay? That is so important. I've told you guys this before. I spent $5,000, I think. Maybe it was a little bit less than that. Honestly, I can't remember because I blasted it out of my mind. I spent so much money in having somebody build me an aesthetically pleasing website, and the copy was awful. Not her fault. It was mine. I had no idea who I was helping. So a beautiful website with copy that's terrible and not specific and not to your ideal client is not going to get you anywhere. You're just going to get frustrated. So before, I know it's hard. I know you want to get your website out there. I know it's something tangible and you feel so good about yourself when you have that up there. But before you do that, make sure that you have an idea, a clear idea of who you're helping, the problem that you're solving. So that's my little recap of which website platform, which hosting platform to use, and what I would consider the main thing that I would consider when choosing a platform.